The amount of data that is being created and stored globally is almost inconceivable, and it keeps on growing. That means there's even more potential to gather key insights from business information. What does that mean for business, and how can they make better use of the raw information that flows into the organizations every day? Big data describes a holistic information management strategy that includes many new types of data and data management together with traditional data.
Big data can be defined by the 3 V's: volume, velocity, and variety. While volume indicates more data, it is the granular nature of the data that is unique. Velocity refers to the speed at which the data has to be gathered and processed. Data streams in at an unprecedented speed and must be dealt with in a timely manner. Data comes in a variety of formats, from structured numeric data in traditional databases to unstructured text documents, email, video, audio, and financial transactions.
Why is big data important? The importance of big data doesn't revolve around how much data you have, but what you do with it. You can take data from any source and analyze it to find answers that enable cost and time reductions, new product development and optimized offerings, or smart and informed decision making.
Who uses big data? Big data affects organizations across practically every industry. Industries include banking, education, government, healthcare, manufacturing, retail, advertising, and public relations. In summary, big data is high volume, high velocity, and high variety information that demands cost-effective, innovative ways to produce information and enables improved insight, decision-making, and process automation.
At the moment, there are some fascinating and exciting things happening in the world of big data. It is believed that Obama's win of the 2012 presidential elections was due to this team's extraordinary ability to analyze big data. Retailers are able to improve their stock predictions based on data analysis generated from social media data, web search trends, and weather forecasts. Most online sites apply big data tools and algorithms to find us the most appropriate matches. Big data tools are used to operate Google's self-driving car. Big data tools are also used to optimize energy grids using data from smart meters. Police forces use big data tools to catch criminals and even predict criminal activity. Today, the majority of equity trading now takes place via data algorithms that increasingly take into account signals from social media networks and news websites to make buy and sell decisions in split seconds.
While this is all very impressive, we asked ourselves the question, how can big data help small businesses? Is there a competitive advantage to be gained from harnessing this new technology? We decided to profile a case study of a company that aims to do just that, deep learning, with their product Opti-Connect, which is targeted to the contact center industry. In the call center industry, it's no secret that finding the right prospect is the key to success. Deep Learning, a company specializing in predictive analytics, has used its expertise to create Opti-Connect, a dynamic, self-learning program which puts big data to practical use. In the existing call center environment, clients will be randomly allocated to agents based on their availability. Opti-Connect uses predictive analytics to learn which agents have success with which client profiles and routes their connections for an improved chance of success. This innovative technology has been proven to increase lead conversions by up to 25%, which has a direct impact on turnover and profitability.
Let's look at an example. At ABC Contact Center, there is a consultant by the name of Andrew who has become very effective at selling to a particular type of customer. Let's assume it's to middle-aged, middle-income, English-speaking females living in coastal regions. Andrew's colleague, Bongani, does not do as well as he does with this type of client. In fact, Nobody at ABC does as well as Andrew with these types of customers. The next time such a lead is dialed and is about to be routed to an available consultant, there will be a favoring or bias for that lead to go to Andrew, should he be available. This is what Opti-Connect does in essence. It matches the prospect profile to the best available consultant given that profile. The lead characteristics are assembled in a simple SQL database using basic variables such as occupation, age, gender, and income. For extra insights, Deep Learning partners with external data companies to provide additional variables that can link with the leads and their characteristics. In recent tests, Opti-Connect was used on a series of campaigns where a treatment group made use of the technology and a control group did not.
Let's look at the results. Client X ran 3 outbound campaigns over a period of 8 months, each with varying team sizes and locations. The graph shows the 3 campaigns, A, B, and C, and within each group the control versus the Opti-Connect results for the talk time duration. Talk time duration in a sales contact center, which this is deemed to be better the higher it is, as sales take longer to complete than non-interested prospects. One can see how the treatment group, which was affected by the Opti-Connect, has higher talk times for each campaign. Similarly, when comparing product conversions, that is what percentage of customers contacted end up buying the product, the results were again very much the same with Opti-Connect, making an improvement in each campaign. The talk time per lead on the treatment group was on average 10% higher, and product conversions were 20% higher.
In conclusion, by using big data, advanced predictive analytics, and artificial intelligence, Deep Learning was able to increase their clients' profitability by simply better matching prospect and consultant. Instead of rendering roles like that of data scientists obsolete, Opti-Connect amplifies these roles by providing them with key insights and more. Predictive capabilities help businesses make solid, long-term decisions and craft strategies that are more likely to offer great results.
We discussed this further with Dr. Gregor Smits, the founder of Deep Learning.
Basically, Opti-Connect connects a lead to a specific call center agent that has to do this, perform this task or this work. And it could also maybe be used, I can think of maybe in recruitment, where you've got a specific positions available and it tries to connect the right resume to this position, and then it goes to perhaps a human who will then filter these and see does it fit into this corporate world. So it tries to reduce some of the human work by filtering the resumes already for suitable positions. Okay, artificial intelligence relies on data in order for the computers to learn from. For instance, this recent example of where Google's AI engine beat the Go champion in Europe, they used a lot of data from the past matches in order to train the deep neural networks, which then beat the human Go champion. And basically, big data was necessary to handle oodles of noodles of data, like when it was too big that you couldn't handle it on one computer. So you needed several computers. Even though all of these computers were very powerful, it was still, you needed, terabytes of data, which one computer couldn't handle. This is a technology of big data. Now, all the Go games that in the world easily fit on one computer, so it's not really big data that beat the human champion, it was AI that beat the human champion. And as RAM is getting cheaper and cheaper, they actually say that big RAM is actually eating big data. Okay, so you can find articles on that. But it doesn't change the value proposition for the business, how the problem is solved. It's still through lots of data that gets processed by intelligent algorithms which then can lead to so-called intelligence. Okay, I think in South Africa you don't get so much big data as a result of our reduced population, but if one does encounter big data, I think South Africa is ready, and the advantage is that the cloud is actually helping South Africa, because we can use the cloud services of Amazon, Microsoft, IBM, Google, and they allow us to use South Africans to use big computer processing power overseas without having to invest in this infrastructure. AI is currently best where you've got a problem that you can define well. Okay, so if you, for instance, a chess game, a Go game, in chess, in fact, they didn't really use AI, they just used brute force. Go, they have a well-defined problem. Like self-driving cars now, they have a fairly well-defined problem. However, they have problems with the cars wanting to go through overhanging branches and not slowing down for them, because this is something that occurs so seldomly, and it's not really that well defined on the road, like a branch. The computer doesn't actually know what a tree is or branch is, or how hard a branch is, because you haven't actually defined it. So anything that happens in the real world becomes a little bit undefined until you've actually taught the computer to do full object recognition, and with that you'd have to explain the whole world to the computer. And right now you have to realize that even these computers only still have the size of a brain of maybe a small bird or a bat, or not even that, perhaps a goldfish. So if you can define the problem where a goldfish will do well, it's fine. And you've seen sometimes even birds behave funny when there's certain objects near them, or shadows or whatever. They actually struggle with that. There was a video on YouTube where penguins struggle to walk over a line. So you do have in animal brains these problems as well. So if you can define it really well, AI will do really well in it. So if you give lots of data, it's only relevant to that. Something that I think from maybe my naive knowledge of it that it could work is maybe currency trading could happen with AI, because you can define all the money that goes in and out of a country very quickly, and can process this information very quickly. I think an AI computer doesn't quite have to understand what Apple is and what Google stands for and what Coca-Cola stands for. It doesn't quite have to know this. It just has to know there's this country and it's got this currency, and these are the current economic pressures on the country, in order to maybe do currency trading. So I think it's maybe a problem that's easier to define than doing stock trading.
In future, as this type of technology becomes more generic and pervasive, we predict that not only will the use of big data give big corporations the advantage, it will also allow smaller companies to leverage the power of information.
In the words of Albert Einstein, any fool can know, the point is to understand.